What's going on, WellRED Nation? It's your boy, the Cho, Corey Ryan Forster here. As you know, WellREDComedy.com, WellRED Comedy.com. No dates right now to speak of because of the pandemic. Hope everybody is staying safe. I hope if you're essential, you're ultra safe and being taken care of, and we really appreciate you. You can still go to WellREDComedy.com and check out our merch. Subscribe to our newsletter so you'll know whenever we get back on the road. You know, grab our book, The Liberal Redneck Manifesto, Dragging Dixie Out of the Dark. Grab our album, WellRED Live from Lexington, along with shirts and hats and all that good stuff. This portion of the podcast is always brought to you by SmokeyBoysGrillin.com. Go to SmokeyBoysGrillin.com to get all the rubs for all your meats. Also, CarVodka.com. Do you want to drink like the Cho? I know you do, and I know you got time to do it right now. So go to CarVodka.com and carve your own path, you silly butts, with Jacksonville's first and only craft vodka distillery. Also, special sponsor on the podcast this week is your boy, the Cho, Corey Ryan Forster, and my special Corey Ryan Forster live at the Bijou. You can pick that up. All you got to do is it's oh shit. I ain't even got my notes right. I'm trying to freaking promote something and I don't even have my notes correct. Okay, all you gotta do to get my special. A lot of people picked it up for pre-order, and I really appreciate that. A lot of people have said, "Oh, is it still available?" Bro, are you kidding me? It's gonna be available for a long time because we're not able to go back on the road. So all you gotta do to get my special is to PayPal me at it's buttercreamcorey@gmail.com or on Venmo at buttercreamcorey. And here's how much my special costs. My special costs however much money you want to give me. I don't care. Literally, I just want everybody to be able to afford it during these times. You give me 50 cents. If you can't afford 50 cents, just send me an email at buttercreamcorey@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link anyways, because I want everybody to be able to get this and to be entertained, because I know that you've already run out of Netflix and shit like that. But if you can afford to pay for the special, then, you know, slide it in the Venmo and the PayPal there, and I will send you a link. If for some reason you do that and you do not receive a link pretty immediately, if it's during the day, you'll get it immediately because I'll see it ding on my phone and I'll send it to you. If I'm asleep, you'll get it the next day. That's just how it works. I don't have intern or anything. But if for some reason you don't get your link, just send me an email or blow me up on Twitter, because that just means that for some reason it didn't show up on my PayPal or Venmo. There have been a couple disappear, but I always make it right. So midway through this podcast, you will be able to hear or see, if you're watching this on our YouTube page, a clip from my special. So I hope you pick that up. And otherwise, please enjoy this podcast with special guest Scott Miller. Skew.
They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread but sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
Oh, here we are.
Hey.
I was about to lie and say I've been wanting to tell y'all this story, but I've actually, what?
I'm just laughing at people don't know this because I'm going to edit that part out, but you go, and now for our not hitting part. And that's still tickling me because it's so true. We don't hit.
Anyway, I was about to lie and say I've been dying to tell y'all this, but I already have told you. I texted y'all this, but I did want to. I'm going to tell it on the podcast.
Man, I forgot.
Anyway, because no, I doubt you forgot this. I thought, I don't know, this was something else, in my opinion. So the other night, me and Katie were watching Hamilton when it first came out, available for streaming. Neither one of us ever seen it. We're both very excited. Watching Hamilton at multiple points, I thought I would think to myself, I'd just be sitting there engrossed in it. And then I would have some thought like, man, this is fucking good. And then I would like, then I would
right.
Yeah, right. Then I would
sold out for 5 years, yeah.
Right, exactly. Then I would kind of laugh at myself like, yeah, no shit, it's good, you dumbass, right? And that had happened a couple of times, and I paused it to make a drink, and I was going to try to explain to Kate. I was trying to explain that to Katie. And that exact thing has been happening to me a lot lately, because I also just finished The Wire for the first time. And I can't tell you how many times that exact same thing happened to me while watching The Wire. I'd be like, God damn, this is
I'm
good.
reading The Watchmen right now, and I texted you and I was like, bro, this shit is fucking unbelievable. And I was like, oh right, every nerd on earth has been screaming that for years. Yeah, it's great.
I was just trying to explain this sort of feeling to Katie in this little brief intermission while I'm getting a drink. And this is how badly that diverged. I said to her, I was like, okay, so I just finished The Wire, right? And she's like, what? And I've brought it up a million times. Walk around the house singing the goddamn theme song and shit. And she's just like, what do you? And I said, The Wire. You know, I've been watching The Wire on the elliptical, that HBO show, and she's just nothing at all. And I was like, she was like, I don't know what that is. And I said, okay. I said, well, a lot of people consider it to be literally the greatest TV show ever made. And her eyes light up and she goes, oh, yeah, right. The one where every episode is an hour in a day and the whole season is like a full day. And it just like slapped me across the face with like, what? And then I realized she was talking about 24. And I just cracked up and couldn't stop laughing for a minute. I was like, no, okay. So like the idea that apparently to her at some point she got the idea that the general consensus is that 24 is the greatest television show of all time. And I don't know where she picked that up, but she says that. And I was like, I swear to God, I laughed for like 3 minutes before I finally got it under control. And I was like, okay, anyway, no, all right. It's not that. What it is, it's a show set in Baltimore about the drug war. And she cuts me off and goes, yeah, no, I know. And Kiefer Sutherland's the star of it. I was like, what the fuck? No. No, it's not 24.
Also, wasn't that like international terrorism? Not at all the drug war?
Not at all the drug war. It was absolutely terrorism. And yeah, and I was like, what? Why are you like? I felt like she was fucking with me, but she wasn't at all. She was like, "Okay, what?" She had no idea, and that is, I don't know. It killed me. I thought it was so hilarious, but it's also like that's hopefully indicative to people of like just how disinterested she is in everything about my world.
Oh, dude.
Which is not that I put myself in the world of The Wire or nothing, but literally just show business in general.
Right.
That's how little she knows or cares about it, which for the most part hits for me, honestly, for a bunch of different reasons. But like, it's extreme.
I knew what you meant, but I was imagining somebody thinking you meant, and this hit for me very much, that like you try to tell her what show you watch while you work out, and she's so disinterested in anything you have to like. You meant she's not interested in showbiz, and that kind of hits for you. But it also kind of sounds like for a second you're saying like, yeah, I try to talk to her about my life and what it is I'm doing, and she just don't give a shit, dude.
That is also kind of true.
With me too. So like, dude, with Amber, like she hasn't sat on the couch for every episode of The Wire that I've watched, but she's sat there for like a lot of them. And that's it bugs me out even more, that she could be on the couch while this, which I consider like, I mean, yeah, like I get why people say this is the greatest show of all time. It's so fucking engaging. Every single character is awesome. The development's great. The storylines are amazing. It's fucking hilarious. The drama's awesome. It's titties sometimes. Like it has literally got it all.
Got it all.
But I'm sitting there like between scenes having to hit pause, just being like, oh shit. Are you serious? Did you see that? And she's just over there just very calmly reading a book about two Vikings butt fucking a milkmaid, not paying attention to anything that I'm, like I just
that
don't
sounds pretty good.
I mean, yeah, it's not bad. Like what she's got going on is not bad, but like, I don't know, man. Like I there's part of me that thinks like this has to be because it hits for me. There's no way that this don't hit.
Right.
Like you have to be making a conscious decision not to let this hit for you because it fucking hits so hard.
Katie was like, when she was like she had no idea what I was talking about. A part I left out is that I have tried multiple times, two times, like to be literal, two different times over the years, I have tried to get Katie to watch The Wire with me. And I thought it would be a slam dunk because like it's not like she just watches like the Real Housewives and fucking Property Brothers and shit like that. She likes good shit.
Yeah, so does Amber.
It's just that there's no rhyme or reason to whether or not she likes something. And I thought The Wire would be a slam dunk because she loves like She loves
crime shit.
detectives. She loves crime. She loves true crime, and she also loves like old episodes of Law and Order and shit. And in my mind, it was like The Wire is just that but like the AAA production value and like, you know, like much higher quality. There's no way she won't like it. Tried 2 times to get her into it and failed both times. And so then, and she don't even remember that because she's like, what is that? And I'm like, Katie, you've watched it with me and you didn't. And she was like, no, I haven't. Never heard of that. Never seen that in my life. Like, she's just so certain, so confident in that. She's like, no, I have not. You're thinking of something else. And I know for a fact we've watched that shit. We watched the pilot twice. And I
forget how much of like and the bubble that us 3 live in is one that we've put ourselves in, like with, you know, knowing shit about TV shows and like understanding like, no, this is considered the greatest show of all time. Because like Amber had never heard of The Wire. And my mama, who's been fucking with HBO forever, like she used to watch The Sopranos back in the day. I was telling her the other day, I was like, yeah, I've been watching The Wire. She's like, what's The Wire? I was like, it's considered the greatest show of all time. It's on HBO. She's like, never heard of that shit in my fucking life. And a couple people have not known what the fuck I was talking about. And
that kind said it just like that.
Yeah,
never heard of that fucking shit my whole life.
I mean,
it was macaroons, motherfucker.
It was pretty close to that. You know, my mom's gangster. But like a couple people have said, and I mean, I guess it was one of those that was more critically acclaimed than it was, you know, universal adoration. But like, I don't know. I guess just because the business that we're in, and I stay reading like top 10 this lists and like caring about stuff like that. But we just fucking fat nerds.
Right. But if you listen to like industry podcasts, if you listen to interviews with producers, writers, TV people, studio executives, whatever, if they ever get asked the question about like, you know, what's your list? What are some of your, and The Wire is on literally everyone's. Like Breaking Bad is on there, but like, you know,
I feel like The Wire's been like a running joke for how good it is for a long time. It's like, that's been one of the stereotypes of like, if you ever get downtime, oh, I guess I can finally finish The Wire. Like, I feel like I hear that a shit ton.
So I finished it, and
don't say shit.
I'm not going to. I finished it, and then I immediately started Band of Brothers.
That's on my list too.
Get my money's worth out of HBO Max, and I've been watching that. And guess what, Joe? It slaps.
Does it slap? Really, one of the most critically acclaimed miniseries of all time from Steven Spielberg
coming Tom Hanks. Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks, World War II. I can't believe it slaps, but it fucking slaps so hard.
Yeah, and that's on my list.
But I've been thinking while watching it, everybody knows we're in the golden age of TV now. And now almost every major provider has at least one big prestige, like award-worthy show. A lot of them have multiple ones. You can't even keep up with all of the super high-quality, next-level shit that is on TV nowadays and all different providers. But, like, dude, there was a period of time there, and that period of time was the early aughts, where HBO was so much further ahead of everybody else. It is fucking unreal. They had in that like 5-6 hour window, they had The Sopranos, The Wire, Band of Brothers, Oz, The Pacific, Sex and the City was at that time. I didn't give a fuck about that, but it was huge. All this shit was in the same 6 Feet Under, Deadwood. Like, I mean, nobody else was making anything like
that's the key right there. I still think that like when it comes, I trust HBO too. That now it's largely because of that period of time, but like I trust HBO so much more than all the other ones, and I still think that they've got more hitters now than anybody else does. However, as you said, they were literally like the only motherfuckers in the game, and they had fucking everything.
Yeah,
thank God it worked, because I don't think we end up with Game of Thrones if
for sure
that doesn't work. They gave him the money and the clout and the faith to pull it off.
They also were putting out great HBO movies back then. I just got through watching, I don't know if you've ever seen 61, the Billy Crystal directed movie about Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle's race to. And by the way, during that movie, afterwards I was doing a little independent research. I found out Roger Maris isn't in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
What? Why?
Yeah, and I don't know.
I don't even give much of a fuck about baseball, and I know who Roger Maris is, and I know about the 61 home runs and all that. So,
the thing is, he also won some Gold Gloves and shit. It wasn't like he just had that one good year, and so they're like, well, technically he didn't have a Hall of Fame career, but like, dog, you know, you take Babe Ruth's record from him. I don't give a fuck what else you did. You're a Hall of Fame player. But he's not in the Hall of Fame, man.
Was
Not
it
at
like
all.
Babe Ruth stands being petty about it back in the day?
Maybe. Honestly, yeah. Because I don't know who the committee consisted of then, but it was like, you know, AP writers and it probably was a bunch of people like, oh, you didn't really, you know, there's an asterisk by your shit. Fuck you.
Again, I'm not a big baseball guy, but my understanding of their Hall of Fame process is that it's particularly like snooty and political and stuff.
It's way less objective than the other ones.
Right, yeah. And it's sort of like you got one sort of like political transgression in the world of baseball. And I'm not talking about Pete Rose. That one's obvious, but just like more piddly shit. And they'll just decide to keep you out forever because of it.
Yeah. It's way to me it seems way more political just because it's the only one I ever hear of some bullshit about. I never really hear bullshit about. Of course, I don't ever hear nothing about the NBA Hall of Fame. Maybe Drew does. I don't know.
It's just the basketball Hall of Fame, ain't it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know a little bit about that. I was actually just reading about Roger Maris, and honestly, my eyes started glazing over because it's a really long fucking article. And my conclusion, without actually reading it now, is that baseball writers are full of shit and they don't hit.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know, man. I mean, all those things, of course, become political at some point.
For sure. It's just like with a guy like Roger Maris, who, again, beat the great Bambino's record and had some gold gloves and was on some World Series teams, not putting him in, like, just kind of makes it look obvious that y'all are doing that shit.
Dude, speaking of which, y'all ever just, like, thought about Babe Ruth much? Like how wild.
Yes, a lot.
Right. He's a wild, he's something else to have existed. Cause like you look at that big deli owner looking motherfucker, you know, like, and he was like the greatest athlete of his generation. And he did it all, and he did it all so much better than anybody else of his age. He was like the HBO of turn of the century baseball, because he was a pitcher, the great Bambino, just smacking taters all goddamn day,
eating hot dogs between innings, smoking cigars. He was hammered drunk. He was pork and horse, buddy. Right, the guy's unbelievable.
He's wild.
He is wild. Now, I mean, you know, like a dude like that, you could never even remote like. And I don't just mean like, oh, yeah, you know, things were different back then. They didn't let black people play, which that's also a huge deal, you know.
For sure.
But like, even if, like, let's say hypothetically someone with Babe Ruth's build and the way he carried himself could make it today, you wouldn't be able to just be drunk all the time and eat hot dogs and shit. Like, it just don't work that way.
You probably can't be drunk all the time and stuff. But I will say, to baseball's credit, he was also a balling-ass pitcher. And you can be a big fat dumb and you can be a big fat dumb and don't hit pitcher.
You can.
Except you do hit.
Bartolo Colon is exactly that, and he's fat, dumb, and don't. He does hit though. He's fat, dumb, and does hit.
They do hit. Yeah. But you can be big, fat, and dumb, and drunk, and all that, and just pitch your ass off. That's why they made Kenny Powers another HBO jam, although a little bit later. That's why they made Kenny Powers a pitcher. You know, that's the only thing you could believe.
He didn't have to hit.
Right. Golf. Yeah,
you can do it in golf. You can be fat and drunk in golf.
No, hardly anymore though.
They're all sexy and in shape and stuff now.
You still can do it, but you have to be so goddamn good to be better than those people without working out. And I mean, Tiger fucked the game up for everybody. I mean, before Tiger, John Daly looked like most of them. I mean, except for the mullet. But, like, they was all fat and stuff. And then Tiger came in and was like, no, here's how we're going to do it.
Cadre of trailer whores cheering for him.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, athletically-wise, he was built. Like, that's just how they were built.
He was the prototype.
Yeah, he was. They were fat, white, dumb.
That's a Chodo type right there.
Yeah, for sure. But then Tiger Woods came in and changed the game. And, like, dude, when you watch the PGA Tour now, all them dudes' waists are about that goddamn big. Their arms are they're fucking jacked. Like, you know, again, it can be done, but right around, like, Boo Weekley came in, and Boo Weekley was a fat redneck. Everybody's like, oh, here we go. That motherfucker was on top for about a season, and now I think he's in the web.com tour. Not that that's not a good living to make, but, like, again, dude, you really got to be in shape to play now.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The whole premise of the movie Basketball, the whole premise of the sport catching on inside the movie was you can be a regular guy or gal and play this sport.
Yeah, because they don't ever move.
Yeah.
Yeah. That same kind of thing has also happened in NASCAR, really. Like they used to have a lot of old boys, a lot of, fat, dumb, and don't hit motherfuckers drive, just drive real fast. But like now they're all, they're all in shape and fucking.
Yeah, man.
It's just like
baseball pitcher is the last place for a true fat, dumb, and don't hit.
yeah, athlete.
Just gotta throw hard.
Gotta throw hard.
Yeah.
My favorite Kenny Powers line is the principal's talking about, I'm a bit of an athlete myself. I run marathons. What? I'm talking about being an athlete, not the best at working out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, he's what, Corey? You just watched that recently. What's he saying?
Yeah,
says,
one of my favorite lines. He goes,
the arm,
he goes,
the brain, what is it?
Oh God, I don't remember what he said about his brain. He goes, I got an arm like a fucking cannon, and this dick.
No,
this dick.
No, he says the line. That's a separate one, which also hits. What I'm talking about, he says, I got an arm like a fucking cannon, the mind of a scientist, and a dick like a Burmese python.
Yeah, my favorite line was when he goes, I was great at being married. Ask my second wife. Yeah, she was a stripper, and if Montel Jordan wants to talk shit, he could suck my fucking dick.
Montel Williams.
Montel Jordan.
Montel Jordan. This is how we do it, my ass, motherfucker.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, we do it down here.
My brain just went to the Hitler Montel.
Yeah. Oh, that show slaps.
I wanna ask you this, Trae, because you've been getting into I'm about to start making my own pasta. I got the pasta attachment the other day.
Thompson's gonna love this segment.
Yeah, fuck you, Thompson. This ain't gonna have shit to do with pasta, really. I just want to know what the last thing you got really, really super fat on was, because we hadn't really been talking about it on the podcast, but off the podcast, we've been making our little like, oh yeah, this pandemic, we've really gone. I've legit gained like 18, 19 pounds, but we hadn't really been telling everybody how fat we've been getting. So I want to know what the last fat. What, Drew?
I think what you're saying, Corey, is we should do this week.
This week in Vernon. Yes, we should. This week in
Vernon.
It was stupid America's sorry birthday this week. So July 4th, I made cheeseburgers, of course, but I also made baked beans, pasta salad, corn on the cob, and had chips and dip, right, and cut up watermelon, all that for my family of 4. Nothing is no single item on it is that egregious. It's just like the amount I made of all of it for just us. Katie at one point goes, why did you make 10 servings of pasta salad? And I was like, because it hits for me,
Yeah, it does hit.
Does hit. But like a fraction of it got eaten. The biggest fraction of that fraction was eaten by your boy. Everybody else had a single cheeseburger. I had a double cheeseburger with all the fixings. It was beans. It was pasta salad. It was multiple ears of corn. It was all the Doritos. And I'm finna go in there and make some donuts when we get done with here. It's time to boys. But I also made a side note. I've been mourning the Great British Baking Show so much lately. I'm mourning it in that I have finished it all. I finished it in its entirety, 10 years worth or whatever, and I'm having such withdrawals.
I heard Nadia show's good.
I need to check that out. I got recommended to me Zumbo's Just Desserts, which is an Australian baking show, and it ain't it. Whoever out there thinks that that's it, it ain't it. They do a bunch of goddamn Willy Wonka bullshit on there. They got no idea about class, taste, tradition, nuance, subtlety.
I need you to tell me, in the world of
Candyland bullshit.
Shows, what is some Willy Wonka bullshit? In the world of literally making puff pastries, what is Willy Wonka bullshit?
Hey,
it's too much.
Pastries. It's a whole school. It's a
Willy Wonka made gourmet candy. He made blueberries that would turn people into blueberries.
No, this stuff is just silly, Drew.
Share it with us.
I'm trying to find. I don't know if I'll be able to find any of like pictures because they. Oh yeah, here we go. All right,
you don't know how to get right to the Willy Wonka shit, Corey. They don't.
No, I do. I found it, motherfucker.
By the way, I ate six plates of Low Country boil yesterday and just burped while I was trying to say it.
I ate 2 steaks. I went over to Carmen's and we did what you did, Trae. We made too much of everything, and I went in.
Yeah, I'm about to have
I
more
don't know how to
country
do this other than
bullshit.
just this. So, let me share my screen, Corey.
Okay, hold on. Here it come. God
Also,
damn,
while we're
I
waiting,
hate to edit this.
Look
I
to
told
the
Maria
right.
Bamford. Well, while we're waiting, if you don't want to edit, I told Maria Bamford about
There you go.
Corey telling everybody he was Wade Boggs and us getting hammered because we have the same publisher, and it hit very hard for our Corey.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I recognize the one thing that you said, but the Wade Boggs thing, I was like, I think this has something to do with me, but I didn't quite remember it.
When we got sent to the hotel by the publisher the night before the view, and we were mad at our publisher at the time, and we found out that they had paid for everything, including our room service and bar bill, we decided to go to the bar, invite all our friends over, and have a party. You said, and I quote, "Put all that shit on my room. I want them to get mad at me. I'm about to Wade Boggs this motherfucker." Fast forward 3 weeks when they did get mad at you and it was all on your bill, and you coming to me and Trae going, "Hey, now, I mean, so we're splitting this though, right? That's going to be all three of us did it."
Yeah, that sounds like me. I don't remember saying the Wade Boggs thing, but that does hit. Trae, I told you, I said you could share stuff.
See that thing on the right? Are y'all seeing
Oh,
this?
yeah.
Look at that.
Oh,
Look
I
at-
thought you meant just.
Mary Berry would never.
Oh, dude,
What-
she
okay,
would hate that so
What
much.
is that shit? This
All right,
was
I'm
like a part of the
obviously
grand
revealing-
finale of this show, and it's just that ain't it. That ain't it.
I'm
Make a
obviously
goddamn
revealing.
centerpiece wedding cake. That's what I want to see. Not this bullshit.
Is it? I don't know how the show works, but like, isn't that just a person with no talent? Like, the idea.
That's the main guy. That's his like. That's it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it. That's his
Australia loves
big-
silly shit, man.
I know. That's what I've.
That's
I've gotten
Zumbo?
That's it. At the end of every episode, he presents a dessert that he has come up with himself, and they have to copy it. Right? That's like the finale.
And that's the prototype?
yes.
What a piece of shit, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
It
so
is
fucking
not-
Australian, dude.
Yeah.
It's just big
That's
and yellow
very
and
Aus-
goofy.
We've went on such a tangent, but anyway, the British Bakeoff though has sent me down such a path of fatness that I never thought I'd be on because I never was a baker. I never made desserts, and honestly, and I know this ain't gonna hit for y'all, but it's true. Half the time, the shit I make, I don't even eat it. I just fatten my family.
No,
up
I
with
get it because I've been wondering because I was like, you don't like cake and shit like that. Like that.
No,
ain't your
I
thing.
don't. But I do. I like making it, and so I made a Swiss roll. I don't think it's called a Swiss roll because it wasn't chocolate. But you know, Cho, like it's like a roll.
No, I think they're still called.
Cream.
I think they're still
Okay.
called Swiss rolls.
Well, I made
In
a
the-
strawberry cream Swiss roll. The
Matter
other
of
night.
fact, I know they are because I remember watching that episode of Great British Bakeoff and going, "Oh, it could be different than chocolate," because that somebody made like a pistachio one, and I was like, "Bruh, that looks fucking amazing." But no, it's still a Swiss roll.
Well, I made a strawberry and cream Swiss roll the other night, and I'm about to go in here and make some donuts, and I'm gonna try to stuff these donuts with some homemade cream in them. So
How was the
that's
Swiss roll? Were you able to get it without it breaking?
It did not break at all, but the cream was a little too thin, and it smushed out the side of a lot of it. So it had one big thing of cream in the very center, which still hit, but it wasn't. It didn't break. The cream just wasn't thick enough.
Corey,
Don't hit.
you made that homemade though, a Swiss roll. Did it look like a Swiss roll?
It had the swirl, yeah.
This, you see that? That's a homemade Twinkie. Can y'all see it?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
Taco made Pride. They did that for Pride. But look how they advertised it. Look at this. I saw that my friend sent it to me, and he sent me the whole thing, and I was like, "Oh, that looks good. Why? What is it? What are you upset about?" What is that?
Oh,
that don't hit.
I've seen that before.
I have to. It's
Why would
supposed to be
you-
if they were real. Don't hit.
Yeah. Why would you put that on a twin? I get that it's supposed to be SpongeBob in nature, apparently, but why use that picture? That's
I don't know.
horrific.
It just the Australia nightmare dessert made me think of that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Don't it? Well, Cho. Oh, but by the way, on the pasta making front, I don't think I'll ever go back. It's not.
I don't think.
It's not that hard. You basically just mix some eggs into some flour and set it aside while you prep the rest of your shit, while you chop everything else up.
Yeah.
And after you've done that, you just run it through the pasta machine a few times, and it's so fucking much better. It's unreal. Except I did make homemade raviolis that way, and that was too much. That was a pain.
Yeah, I'm not a that guy anyways, really. Like, ravioli, I don't like them enough to go through all that trouble. I'm just more of a, like, you know, carbonara and fucking fettuccine and that shit. And I'm very interested in doing that. I'm probably going to do some of that this week, even though I've been trying to do better since yesterday. I've been trying to do better since yesterday. I've been trying to go. I want to go broth this week, but then maybe next week I'll do pasta.
Well, what have you been fatting on? You wanted to ask the question. I mean, I know the answer, but
right.
Tell everybody else.
Well, yesterday, or excuse me, on America's whatever, how manyth birthday? How old are we now?
I don't know.
America?
Yeah.
1776. Somebody did
230, 244.
That sounds right.
Well, we're acting like my wife did on her fucking 30th, but either way, I ate on the 4th. It was a Low Country Bowl, and I've since had way too much was made. I've since ate 6 other plates of that shit. Dad did fish tacos that I was able to go pick up. Salmon fish tacos, which was fucking unbelievable. Other than that, I just remembered that I really enjoy. You remember French Toast Crunch? Did that ever hit for you?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Sorry.
I ate.
I didn't know they still made it.
So me either. And
not cinnamon toast crunch. French
Toast Crunch.
Where the pieces are they look like little pieces of bread. Yeah. No idea they still made that.
Me either. It may be one of them like throwback situations, or my grocery store old. I don't know. I could have ate old ones, but I went and I saw that, and so I got them, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. And I really hope that like they're just making boxes of cereal smaller now, because I ate the whole box in one day, along with I've been doing this thing where you can get these, they're called sub kits, and so it's like you get this long thing and it's got all the meat in between the pieces of paper or whatever. Well, I've been getting a sub kit, and it's enough for like, it's a sub to make for like you and your homie. But I've been putting all that meat onto just regular sandwich bread, and just that's my sandwich. And I've been eating at least 2 of them a day. I started feeling depressed the other day.
What?
I know. I don't know who would
Where
know
did that come from?
I started feeling depressed the other day, and whenever I'm depressed, and whenever I'm actually sick, depression is sickness. I don't mean that. I'm saying when I'm physically sick, I have to have Campbell's cream of chicken soup. And I got depressed the other day, and I was like, well, my brain don't hit, so same. And so I went and got 4 cans of Campbell's cream of chicken soup, domed them in 2 days. And then I found out that I just like that. I was like, oh, shit, I always thought it was like a just when I'm sick thing, this will soothe me. But no, I just like it. So I've been just eating condensed soups every day at lunch, but I've been, making them in the pot, not the microwave, and I've been putting some like lemon zest. Listen, man, I've been getting Campbell's cream of chicken soup. I've been putting fucking lemon zest in that shit. I've been hitting it with the accent. I've been fucking I've been really doctoring it up to where like you can't tell.
Yeah, does that help with the fact that you can't process milk?
No, it's hurting, especially because I hit it with a little dollop of cream at the end too. Buddy. Oh, dude, my asshole has been through it.
Well, it's your fucking house, You're paying the bills around there. Fart in your own house, man.
It ain't no big deal. Our air conditioner also exploded.
Oh, so it's hot and you're farting cream in that house?
Yeah, no. Amber ain't been here though, so
that's
it don't
no
matter.
Wonder. You just farting cream and not fixing the air conditioner.
No, we're having a dude come tomorrow to put it. It's been out for like 3 days, and it's really not hit.
Have y'all ever had that white trash chicken spaghetti that's like 2 different kinds of cream of whatever, cream of chicken and cream of mushroom soup,
and cream of mushroom,
like Velveeta.
You have my attention.
And
Rotel, Velveeta, Rotel, 2 different kinds of, just all the entire processed food aisle
slop
shoved in a pot, just slopped up with
over noodles.
over noodles with chicken
and then baked with cheese on top of it.
Hell yeah.
It's so good. They call it. It's called $1 million spaghetti, and it's the opposite of that. That's what they call it down here is $1 million spaghetti.
It's one of the only my mother-in-law. That's one of the few things she makes that hits for me.
Is the chicken canned and like processed?
No, when she makes it, at least the chicken itself is like
It's
chicken
legit,
nuggets,
chicken breast strips.
That would hit. See, I think that would hit almost harder. Tyson chicken nuggets in there.
Hell yeah, it would.
Dude,
No,
listen,
doctoring up like trash food, is.
I love to doctor up a frozen pizza.
Me too, man. That whole thing was like my first sort of, as dumb as it maybe sounds, it was kind of my first sort of foray into like learning how to cook at all, was like doctoring up.
It might sound dumb if you were like 30, but didn't this happen when you were 12 and your mom hadn't been home for 4 days? I think it's okay, Trae. Give yourself a break on this one.
Oh, dude, she'd been gone for way longer than 4 days.
Way longer than 4 days. It was a few years. I'd been eating my dad's buttered chicken, just shove a whole stick of butter up a chicken's ass and put it in the oven for a while. It did hit.
Yeah, get that juice in there, boy.
my dad like,
son, you're telling me you're too good for ass butter chicken on
ass butter chicken. He could he could make stuff that his just like it was like 4 things. And I finally got to a point where I was like, I got to switch it up some. And that's when I started like looking into learning how to cook. But I'm saying like, even when I was in college and stuff, I would never just, any of that trash food, I never just made it out of the box ever. Like I always would do some kind of doctoring it up situation. And frozen pizza doctored up is the shit.
I've yet to discover a way to do
that's the first thing.
Or guacamole in a trash way. And I stay putting homemade guacamole on Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I hate their guacamole. It's like, that's just you can't trash up avocado for some reason.
No, you shouldn't. It's supposed to be fresh.
Right. I was actually okay. First of all, it's kind of weird just because I was just talking to Kay about this the other day. There's like an old riddle, I guess you call it a riddle. I don't know that I heard before. It's like what's the only vegetable that is only ever served fresh, and it's never served any other way other than just straight up fresh. And the answer to the riddle is lettuce, right? But I was thinking the other day, like, is it avocados?
Mama used to put on leaf lettuce. She used to put lettuce and onions, put hot bacon grease on it.
You sure that wasn't cabbage?
It was definitely.
Lettuce.
Also, it was leaf lettuce though.
Yeah, but if you
it was more of a green.
If you just pour bacon grease over a big head of lettuce, that does hit, but it's not like it's sort of just like that's just salad dressing, but made out of meat.
Yeah, right. It's hot. It makes it slimy. Yeah. But all right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, don't be sorry.
Isn't that also true of avocado? But is avocado a fruit though?
I don't know if it's a fruit or not. I think it is, but I think people do grill it.
See, that can't hit though, right?
No, I can't hit because of how it is. It fall apart.
Yeah, that's right. It would just mush.
It's meant to mush.
Not mush is fine. It is meant to mush. It would be hot. It would hot mush.
Hot mush.
I think that's the goal. Is a hot mush.
No.
Yeah, but with avocado, I'm
not saying that's a good goal. I'm saying I think that's why they do it. Here, let me.
Avocado is meant to be cold. And the runny white is meant to be hot, and then you mix them on the same chip. Grilled avocado. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm not.
It is kind of
okay. Like innocent
try hardy.
Dude, that's fucking stupid. Is why. Dude, and just eat it out of there like some sort of fucking California piece of shit pudding cup.
Yeah,
hold your little grilled avocado.
Who eat avocados?
California pudding cup. Don't.
I mean it.
No, I agree. I'm glad you.
I mean, here's the deal. I bet it hits.
I just don't see it.
I bet if you grilled avocados.
Huh?
On this page, I stopped sharing. Yeah. You know how like every recipe has to give you a fucking story, and they can't just.
I know. I hate that shit. I know why they do it. I know why they do it, but I hate that.
We'll talk about that in a second. Corey is completely right about this being a California fucking pudding. Listen to this. This is their intro to that. It's like, yes, you can grill some avocados. It makes the magical fruit even more magical. Grilling an avocado infuses a smoky flavor into every bite and turns the bottom a bright green color! Exclamation point. It changes its color is a reason to fuck it. The skin of it changes color. So you should cook. That's the weakest hard sell I've ever read.
Dude, you're talking about every recipe has to have a story. The other day, I found myself looking at a bag of chips the way my dad looks at Saturday Night Live nowadays. Like, I was just sitting there eating a bag of chips, and I was like, can I not just fucking enjoy this bag of chips without hearing all this bullshit? Because, like, I gotta know, like, Ray, here's Ray's story. Make a good fucking chip, Ray. I don't give a shit the first time you ever thought to make this chip. I don't give a shit that your wife helped you peel your first potatoes. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that shit.
She's dead. I don't give a shit, Ray. It's the last thing you guys ever did together. I don't give a flying fuck, Ray.
If your chips hit, it don't matter. Just let the chips do the talking.
At the very least, change it up. Don't make this fucking sap-ass story that's going to make me cry or like want to watch a fucking documentary.
In Ray's defense, every flavor of chip at least has a different story on the side of it. And Ray's chips do hit. They're my favorite chips.
That makes
but
it
fuck
worse.
him and his goddamn stupid stories.
Online recipes, I get why they do it. It has something to do with like they can't make any money off of a page like that if they don't do that. It's just not practical. So there's no reason for anybody to just put recipes out there. And I understand that, but it still drives me crazy. And anytime you want to look up some like whatever scallop potatoes or some shit, you got to slog through some woman reminiscing about her hubby's mamaw, who used to scallop potatoes in the old country, according to whatever is passed down.
Am I all right? $1 million idea, justrecipes.com. But the way you make your money is you have to watch a 5-second ad to get to the recipe. But that's it. It's 5 seconds long. And then after that,
it
goes to a page. Yes. And we're selling bum fights. Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Man, bum fights.
Wasn't that something?
Halcyon days of the internet.
Early aughts.
Early aughts, yeah. A very bro-y time, the early aughts. A lot of
Spike TV.
Yeah, Spike TV, extreme shit, affliction shirts, chin strap beards, which
Mountain Dew had a whole run.
Let me tell you something right now. We always talk about like if you could tell 13-year-old me this, and we're usually talking about some sort of like crazy technology. If you could go back and tell 12 to 13-year-old me that one day my opinion on bum fights would change, my head would fucking explode. Like I'd be like, fucking, first off, no. Secondly, why?
They need a job.
yeah, dude. What shit, man? He's working for it. Goddamn.
Was it bum fights specifically, or like a bum fight spinoff that Kimbo Slice came out of? Because I know it was something. I
think it was a spinoff. Because I know that
he did yard fights or something like that. But he was already starting to get famous because he was a porn bouncer. Is that not?
That was his thing. Yeah, he was bouncing for like these porn dudes. And like he would, during his downtime, because he need to relax, he'd do a bunch of PCP and whoop shit out of motherfuckers. so that's just hobby.
Good
you know what I mean?
Friday.
I put lemon zest in my Campbell soup. That's what he did. So he would do that, and then
I think they called them yard fights. Trae.
Yeah,
but it was definitely of the bum fight era.
It was of that genre. Yeah, right. Yeah. But like, dude,
son, it's Code Red Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
You think your buddy whoops shit out of folks?
Yeah.
Whoops shit out of fucking. But then they had that one when Kimbo finally lost. He went up against that big fat dumb don't hit cop. Turned out he was fat dumb and did hit. But like, he would just go and they would just put the money up, and like sometimes Kimbo would just admit to have just smoked PCP right before the fights. But he knocked that one motherfucker's eyeball smooth. And that was I'll still watch the old Kimbo fights because that was different. They were doing it for money, and they were both otherwise employed. They weren't just going up to random homeless people and putting a honey baked ham in the middle of them and just being like, "Somebody get it." That's way different. That's way different.
I think what you should have told 12-year-old you is you need to get involved in promoting these bum fights because you have a gift.
Exactly. Here's the deal: don't call them bums because they're working. Like, this is a job. They're no longer bums right now. But, like, for sure. But like, no, that don't hit, man. That's rude.
Do y'all remember when? Because also we're talking about the early aughts and it being a very douche bro era in American culture, which it was. It was also the meteoric rise of the UFC in popularity, and I was super into that. I'm not gonna lie, but it actually wasn't UFC. It was that other one, which I can't even remember now. I don't think it was
Bellator.
Maybe okay. I think it was. I feel like it was before Bellator, like Pride fighting or something like that.
It was Pride fighting. It's
anyway,
it was Pride fighting.
They got, but MMA had just become huge. Kimbo Slice had just become huge. They got Kimbo Slice's like first big fight, and it was on TV and everything. And me and all my buddies were so super pumped about it. Everybody was. It was supposed to be against Frank Shamrock. It wasn't
Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock.
No, Ken Shamrock has a brother named Frank, right? And they both fought. I think it wasn't. I think it wasn't Ken. I think it was Frank Shamrock. I'll Google it real quick. Anyway, Frank Shamrock had, if that's who it was, which I think it was. Yeah, Frank Shamrock is a real person. I'm pretty sure it was Frank Shamrock. Was supposed to fight Kimbo Slice in his first like sanctioned fight and televised fight. Frank Shamrock had an 11th hour injury. So they always have an alternate for both fighters, right? But everybody's super, super disappointed in this transpiring. The alternate comes in, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to find the guy's name because I so badly want to show you a picture of this guy, but I don't think I'm going to be able to find his name. But the alternate, the replacement for Frank Shamrock comes in, and he's a dude with pink hair, and I've never seen, like, even in the old, like, before Mike Tyson's fights, I've never seen a person look more fucking terrified in their life than this alternate with pink hair looked as Kimbo Slice is coming into the cage, right? Like, he's, like, visibly shaking. He's fucking so scared. And it's like,
is he not a fighter, or?
No, he's a fighter. That's what I'm saying. He is a fighter. It's hell. This is his big shot.
It's just like, Kimbo Slice has a myth around him of knocking motherfuckers' eyeballs out.
Yeah, and also like you got to be nervous as shit. He never expected to actually be in there or anything. But anyway, and the fight starts. I actually found the guy here. This is the dude. That guy right there, Seth.
Looks scared in that picture.
He looks like he's been knocked fucking stupid right there.
So the fight actually, everybody's like, well, it really don't hit that Shamrock is hurt, but whatever. Still hits. It's still hype. Everybody's still real hype. The bell rings. Kimbo Slice bull rushes him immediately, like charges straight at him. And that pink-haired motherfucker threw a terrified jab, like just like, like as Kimbo Slice is running at him, hits him, catches him right on the button and knocks him out with one jab.
Yeah.
2 seconds into the start of the fight. It was the most anticlimactic, disappointing bullshit thing I think I ever watched where MMA is concerned. And I still remember that.
Do you remember?
Obviously, he was real pumped.
If I were,
do you remember when he finally?
I would say he did it on purpose, like he was trying to rope a dope him. Yeah, he pretended to be scared.
Did you? Do you remember when he actually fought Ken Shamrock?
No, I remember another fight he had against a big, dumb, bald, big, dumb, bald motherfucker. And Kimbo, like, exploded his ear, kind of. I remember that.
I don't think it would have been bad at all if you would have said sorry.
Apologized to him.
It never would. That's usually always the case. That's
it's like when somebody whispers Mexican.
He was fucking
like, Mexican's not racist till you whisper it.
Yeah, he was fucking fat and stupid. No offense, Corey. Well, I didn't think. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking. And when he fought Ken Shamrock, who is he's a ground grappler type dude. He got him on the ground, and he literally had Kimbo. I'm not kidding, dude. I've watched this clip from this fight a million times. You see Kimbo Slice. He's sitting there. He's got him in a chokehold. Kimbo literally, his head goes down. His eyes are on the back of his head. His arm falls down, and then somehow, I don't know, like an old PCP flashback, he just came back to life and then beat the fuck out of Ken Shamrock. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Dana White always used to say, like, in the octagon, Kimbo's more of a street fighter, so he didn't really have it down. He said, however, if we were ever to have a UFC barbecue and shit went down, no one at even close could take Kimbo Slice. Like, if it was there, like if he could use a chair or, you know, any of that, like, whatever. Like, BCP, right? Because see, that's the bullshit about it, man. Is that what they won't tell you about the UFC is they will not let you smoke PCP before you go out there and beat the shit out of people. It's kind of fucked up, man.
I think so too. Back when I was a lawyer, I wanted to help some of those guys out. We were going to sue. Trae, you didn't respond to it earlier, so I don't think you know anything about it. But there's also clips of Kimbo. There was a show, for lack of a better word, that the porn company produced, and it was called Money Talks. And you guys can figure out pretty easily what the idea. Eventually, they pay a girl to do, you know, sex stuff, but she's not really a porn star, but, you know, she definitely really is. But leading up to the sex scene, they would do like weird stunts and shit. Like, will you let this baby alligator bite you on the balls for $20? No. What about $100? Well, one of them was Kimbo Slice, 20-yard sprint, teeing off on you in full football gear. And you not wearing them. And these fucking white boys down on the beach in Miami let him do that shit. He fucked them up for like $80.
No shit.
And they weren't allowed to run or dog. They just stood there and he fucking waterboyed them. And
I mean, he killed him.
I got to say, I didn't make it to the porn that day because I came when he did it. But
of course.
Oh, that was a bygone era, man.
Late 90s, early 2000s. Dude.
I mourn that era.
It sure was, man.
Even your Christian rock bands had sex tapes.
Yeah.
Shout out Creed.
It's when I came of age during that just dirtbag white trash part.
Me too. We should have known that bubble was just going to bust.
Dude, I'm gonna make a lot of people upset probably, and maybe one of y'all. But like, and I think coming from that era is why I feel this way. But that Limp Bizkit cover of Behind Blue Eyes is fucking better than Behind Blue Eyes. It fucking is.
I think it goes hard.
I don't think my dad has ever been more visibly disgusted by anything,
dude,
than he was by that goddamn movie. And like, when it came out, I was watching MTV, TRL or something, and they like debuted that Behind Blue Eyes by Limp Bizkit, and I mean, he was just like, "Are you shitting me? God damn!
It's so rad.
No fucking shame, son."
What's that? What's his guitarist name? Shame. Monkey Man 5000 or whatever the fuck his guitar?
Power Man 5000. What about him?
Dude, first off, I agree with you, Drew. Well, maybe not that it's better, but it did go hard, and I come from that era. But yeah, man, my dad, not to the redneck Superman extent that your dad probably was, Trae, but I remember it was a conversation like that me and Dad have, just like, he just couldn't get it. He's like, son, my thing is like with a cover, you're supposed to at least attempt to improve on something, whatever. Is that this is just fucking garbage. What the fuck is this shit? Turn your goddamn hat around. You know, whatever it was. The Yankees are fucking blue.
I think my dad was so conflicted with Kid Rock's Sweet Home Alabama remix bullshit, because I think there was a part of him that was like, you know, they forgot about Skinner's son. At least Kid's trying to bring him back. But also he hated it so much.
My dad also very much, because it was also, it wasn't just Sweet Home Alabama. It was Sweet Home Alabama and fucking Werewolves of London jacked up in the same shitty butt rock song. And my dad hated that too.
I totally get that, and your dad was right. But let me tell you something about Doug Morgan. He didn't give a fuck about anything to do with London. I guarantee you that right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
Werewolves, Levon, Zevon, they can all kiss off.
Speaking of Roger Maris, Warren Zevon also not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Full circle.
Make no sense.
Bullshit.
It's not real until he is, in my opinion. I won't say that about the Baseball Hall of Fame necessarily, Roger Maris, but in my opinion, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ain't real till fucking Warren Zevon's in it. And since everybody listens to our podcast, if you're out there and you're in charge of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and you're listening to this, go fuck yourself.
I guess it's probably about that time. Rest in peace, Charlie Daniels, you piece of shit, and rest in peace. The Sackler, the patriarch of the Sackler family, is dead, and I hope you burn in hell, you motherfucker.
Who? Wait,
is that the Purdue Harmony?
Yeah,
Pharmacy?
yeah.
Oh,
Ain't the
right.
jelly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
not the jelly people.
Yeah.
Wait, he died at 65. Why didn't they just give him a bunch of pills?
I'd say they have been.
Right. That's a hit and wait. God damn.
Yeah, he's still even in
Lord,
death. He got the
Lord.
hit. I guarantee it.
We're
Oh, yeah.
we are about to go for this segment, but y'all don't go because we're throwing it right into a truly delightful interview
Truly.
that I very much enjoyed with Mr. Scott Miller, singer-songwriter and donkey basketball connoisseur.
Scott Miller, you guys should listen to his music and follow him at thescottmiller.com, which we let him plug on there. When you look him up, look up Scott Miller and his songs. Look up Scott Miller in the Commonwealth for some of his old rock and roll songs, and you might even be able to find some of the old V-Roy songs, which we get into a little bit on there. I'm a huge fan of Scott Miller's. He's super, super talented. He was super nice, and he wanted to talk about donkey basketball.
And I'm so glad he did because, there was
there
was some revelations in there about the inner workings of donkey basketball that I was unaware of that have truly brightened my day, week, year, you name it.
And
so hope
I
y'all
forgot to
enjoy it.
follow up because I was so excited. He's talked about referencing one of those. I need to reach out to him and be like, which song? And then let him know.
Oh,
Apparently
yeah.
he references it in a song.
Oh, man. Yeah, I forgot about that, too. It's going to be hilarious. She's like, what do you mean which one? It's called Donkey Basketball.
I don't think so, buddy. But, I mean, I would
All
hit
right,
from
well, we love you guys. And listen to this awesome interview with Scott Miller. Skew.
Some people like to get their eyeballs licked. Anyway, sorry.
Don't hit.
No, don't hit.
And now a clip from my special, Corey Ryan Forster, live at the Bijou, available to purchase now through Venmo or PayPal. Ski.
One of my favorite parts about the Civil War reenactment is just how committed to the bit these reenactors are. They are so committed to the, like, that is Colonel Johnson all goddamn weekend. You know what I'm saying? That ain't Peepaw no more. That's Colonel Johnson. Like, if you're out there and you're like me and you were bummed out when Daniel Day-Lewis decided to call it quits after Phantom Thread because you're truly going to miss the commitment to the thespian craft that he brought day in and day out, well, look no further than Chickamauga, Georgia on War Between the States days, where these reenactors are truly putting the meth in method acting. It is unlike anything you've ever seen. So, they do. They commit to the bit so hard, you can't even pump gas in my hometown of Chickamauga, Georgia on War Between the States days without having some dude in a full-bird Confederate uniform holding a musket walking past you while you're pumping gas just going, huh. What, pray tell, is that strange liquid you're putting in that horseless carriage? I have never seen such a thing in all my days. I'm like, Bill, this is your fucking gas station, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you took the day off to be racist. Man, the credit card machine. I've got shit to do. I'd love to go down the street and get a barbecue sandwich. We only live on one road and both sides are blocked off with a goddamn cannon. I hate this war. It's dumb.
How are you, man?
I'm good. Donkey basketball headquarters here.
Well, that's definitely what I want to get into. I mean, you're a step ahead of me, so let's get into it. First of all, have you? All right, let me just back up. You replied, everyone, this is Scott Miller. I'm a huge fan of Scott Miller's. Thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Yeah, man, my pleasure.
You replied to a tweet. Somebody replied to me. I don't know if you know, but on this podcast, I brought up donkey basketball. And part of the reason I did is I want to do a joke about going when I was younger, but in no way in my mind was that still a thing. It couldn't even be legal anymore. Like, the person who started it had to have been sued into oblivion long ago. And then you and a few other people were like, nah, I'm pretty sure they're still playing it and when you fill in the blank, it was always a rural part of the South.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Yeah, I've been within the last, well, not since COVID, but I've been within the last year we've had it.
My man's a regular.
I told you, It was a lot like we still had the midget wrestling at our county fair, and I went to that too. Although I felt a little dirty.
Yeah. Was it still called that?
No, this was separate. The donkey basketball was at the local high school, which is
No, but I want to
Gap.
know, was it still called midget wrestling? Because there would be something
Yeah.
almost like absurd if
buddy,
they changed the
yeah,
name.
right.
But they
If
let
the
them
county
keep
fair, if the county fair had a meeting and we're like, listen, y'all, it's 2020. We can't call it midget wrestling. We're still going to wrestle midgets. Obviously.
Yeah. Yes,
Obviously, we're
Dan,
gonna
what's your
need a
question?
new name.
Can we throw them still?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
got to
I
get
know.
permission. God
I just-
damn it.
I just got an image of a bunch of donkeys with face masks on, and it tickled the fuck out of me.
All right, yeah, so it is separate from the fair. It's a fundraiser usually, right?
Yeah, it's usually the faculty of the high school versus seniors.
Well, that's my favorite thing about it is that donkey basketball as a business model is a man provides the donkeys.
Yeah.
You provide the athletes who will
the
participate
athletes
in this game.
and the monkey. Now listen, I don't know if you all had this.
Hold on. Is that the referee? Please tell me the referee's a monkey.
This is true. And I referenced it in one of my songs. There was one donkey. They always have different donkeys that have different personalities. Like one donkey just wouldn't move no matter how somebody tried to
Right.
get it to move. All right, and there was always a donkey that was fairly adequate. Anyway, they had this monkey on one donkey, and all this donkey did was run around. And the monkey had a little whip, and he would smack all the other asses on the ass. And he was like, he was the catalyst.
Well, I remember
They
when
named
we
the monkey
did it,
catalyst. And that's
he
what
had
he
a
was.
llama. Like
A
they,
llama?
I guess I feel like
That's
a donkey
ridiculous.
died.
We'll serve that kind in here.
I feel like a donkey died, and he just needed a replacement that season.
Did Daddy
They couldn't
cry,
get one.
Inky Binky Bonky?
But the llama was lazy, and this particular llama just sat down on the court, and his rider just straddled over him and shot from wherever it sat down. That team won by a lot. It felt like cheating to me.
I think they have donkeys that do that too.
Okay.
So yeah. But
What
they
about
wore
wild
they wore
ones?
football helmets. There was safety involved.
The donkeys wore football helmets.
The participants.
Was
Football helmets.
there a wild donkey? Our version always had one donkey that the asshole, like jock would ride because he'd be like, I can handle it, and he'd break his fucking arm every time.
Does your arm still hurt a little bit from time to time when it rains?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel I'm almost ashamed by this because Drew brought this up last time, and I didn't really know what he was talking about. I don't know how we avoided this in my hometown specifically because of everything else about my hometown.
I mean, I feel the same way.
Well, but I didn't. I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But multiple people have texted me since last week, of course. Old heads being like, oh, they used to do donkey basketball at the gym in Salina, or whatever. But my best friend texted all of us a few days ago and said that so my hometown, Scott, is like redneck as hell. I graduated high school with 50-something people, right?
Yep.
But it's the biggest city. It's the biggest town in Clay County, right? So in the smaller, even more redneck town neighboring Salina, the town that we all look down on from Salina called Hermitage Springs, my best friend Thompson informed me that they have been doing donkey basketball in Hermitage Springs as an annual tradition every year for like 30-something years and still do it. And every year the Springers, what we call them, try to recruit my buddy Thompson to be on the donkey basketball team. And thus far, he hasn't given in, but he says he's at a point in his life where he thinks it might be time to give donkey basketball a shot. But yeah, apparently this is way more of a thing than I realized.
Pony Express hadn't reached word there that they need to stop it.
So what do you
we're the biggest county in Virginia, Augusta County. We have the largest cow to people ratio of any county east of the Mississippi. Buffalo Gap High School is where they have it. They have it there every year. Same guy brings in the donkeys. They put rubber shoes on them so they don't hurt the gym floor. And
Okay. Speaking of the gym floor, I got a question that's going to sound like I'm going for the low-hanging fruit or just being immature, but I really need to know, how soon into the game of donkey basketball is it just knee-deep in shit?
Right.
Well, that's part of it. There's always like, here's your comedy relief. There's always one person that's on like a little tiny toy tractor with a little wagon, and they're dressed up in overalls, and they ride around and clean up the donkey poop. And that's part of the thing.
Is that an elected official in your hometown? You gotta run for that position. You said you go every year. Like, you participate, or you just go and what?
No, I've not been. I don't rate high up on the social scale to be invited to participate.
All right.
How
is that determined? Oh, you said it's the faculty of the high school versus the senior class of the high school. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
And
That's how we did it too. But it disappeared, and I just always assumed it disappeared off the face of the earth, because there ain't no way Sunbright, Tennessee got rid of it before the world did. But apparently I'm wrong. I think our guy died, and your guy just won't come to Sunbright is what I think. So has it been going on since you were younger?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm 52, and I remember going as a kid. And I went the year before last. So we still have it. If they have it again, you guys can all come up. We'll go.
I'm going to do that. I want to do that more than anything.
I mean, look, man, I was already like fairly intrigued by just, you say donkey basketball. Like my brain starts going, okay, so either people are riding the donkeys or it's like a Air Bud donkey situation. Either way, either way, I'm cool with that. But I thought that was it. And then you say, yeah, but also we've got a monkey jockey that whips these donkeys, and then there's also our mayor rides a tractor and cleans up their shit. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, dude, the fucking donkey basketball, man. The South.
Yeah, it's a fleshed out, form of entertainment. Clearly, it's not some half-assed thing, Joe. But I'm with you. I just went on that exact same journey myself, listening to talk about this.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Well, has anybody checked with Alabama? They may still have it down there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm certain that they do. I'm just, these two boys just learned about it last week, so they're blown away at its existence. I feel that I'm equally blown away at its continued existence. You got to imagine injuries. One injury and lawsuit could ruin a donkey basketball operation.
Well, you're going to be signing away your life before they let you on a donkey. I worry more about the animal rights activists and there are those that I think try to stop it.
We're here for the donkeys.
Yeah, they're here for the donkeys. But
yeah,
some
I was about to say, I don't know.
Those animals like to work. They like to work, so.
Yeah, they love the game, man.
I don't personally know anyone who would both participate in donkey basketball and then sue donkey basketball.
I know. Yeah, right.
Well, and on that
if they got hurt, they'd be like, shit happens. I don't know what to do.
I deserve that.
Yeah. It's the risk you take if you're going to play donkey basketball.
I agree with
that.
You
want me to willingly go to court? Fuck that.
I agree with that. I got to add, though, Scott, too, in terms of, you talking about them signing a waiver. I can't imagine the donkey basketball lawyer is got an airtight waiver on hand. I don't know. He went to his buddy who wrote that waiver. They got that off LegalZoom at best.
Yeah, but it's enough to fool an old boy. Again, that's one true. Who's like a power donkey forward.
Donkey forward.
I learned about last week. This spurred us to learn about. And Scott, you're a farmer. You're a singer, songwriter, musician, former rock band frontman, and I'd like to talk a little bit about that. But you're also a farmer. Do you know about Trae? I'm going to say it wrong. The horse gymnastics. What's it actually called?
Vaulting.
Vaulting?
Yeah, vaulting.
Are you familiar with that, Scott?
No, is that like dressage or something?
Yes, yeah, sort of.
Okay.
I also recently discovered that it was actually all part of the same conversation, wasn't it? With that and donkey basketball, the two polar opposite ends of the equine sporting spectrum. But vaulting it's literally gymnastics on the back of a horse.
Yeah.
While it runs in circles.
But it's like upper class white people shit, like equestrian stuff.
Yeah, my wife does dressage. So, like with our farm, I raise cattle, and I tell everybody, my wife doesn't keep her horse on our farm because they're horses. They need hot water and special attention and stuff. And I figure every day I keep a horse off my farm, I count that as making $300 or $400.
Yeah.
Are there other farming animal sports we're unaware of, to your knowledge?
We know about chicken shit bingo.
Yeah.
There you go.
One. Everybody knows that one. We actually did a paddy walk is what we called it.
With
you know what that is?
Cow.
With cows. It's like sort of like chicken shit bingo, but with a cow, and it's sort of a different kind of layout. We did that in my hometown on the square every year.
We did that at the church.
Yeah. So we got those two, donkey basketball. Are there others that you know of?
Not that I know of. I mean, I've never seen any. We don't really have a lot of llamas or anything around here.
I'd love to play like pig football. I don't know how that would work.
Well, wait a minute. You do have the pig races at the fair, right?
Oh.
You all have. Come on.
We have where you got to tackle a grease pig.
Yeah,
which I guess it's a sport.
That one, I know that one. Yeah, it's like a greased up pig. You got to catch it.
No, they have they're like the horse races, but they're the pig races. They have that at the fair, and that was at the West Virginia State Fair that I saw that. And they give.
Is it just pigs racing, or
yeah,
with like kids on them?
No, there's no kids on. They're little pot-bellied pigs, and they all have awesome names like Magnum PIG.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do monkeys whip the pigs?
I see no monkeys involved in the pig racing. Pigs are too small for that.
I hope that monkey is making the same amount as them donkeys. I feel like the monkeys just antagonizing the donkeys to get more food.
I think monkeys are like so close to us genetically, they're union.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's management. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, the monkey. He gets paid scale, son. He knows what's up.
He's probably in it for the love of the game, dude. I guarantee you, he loves whipping them donkeys' asses.
Yeah, he does.
He loves that shit.
They teach it to sign, and Peter's there, and the monkey's like, "Fuck you, Peter. This is my passion." Well, Scott,
an old phone. I've got video of it from last year somewhere.
Man, if you found that, I'd love to see it.
Right.
We on our podcast and in our comedy spend a lot of time and effort trying to make people understand that the South is not as backwards as you think. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, I'm a big fan. I want to go back a little bit. For people who don't know, you should listen to any Scott Miller or Scott Miller and the Commonwealth albums you can find right now. Your latest, which I thought was from 2018, but the internet's telling me 2017. Is that right on Ladies Auxiliary?
Yeah, it's probably technically 2017, yeah.
I think it was the best folk album that year and in the last few years. I really do. I don't know if maybe I shouldn't throw a genre at you. I know with Americana and country and all that mixing together, people maybe get a little hairy with that stuff. But, man, 10 Miles Down the 9 Mile Road is so good. First of all, congratulations on that. But that's sort of a different record or I don't know. I come to know you as a rock band and a rock band guy. Yeah. What changed, or was that just sort of a natural thing?
That's always, man. I've always been a songwriter. Songs always come first with me, even in the V-Roy's days. And plus, bands are expensive.
Right.
Between rock and roll and farming, I don't make a lot of money.
Right.
So it's cheaper to tour by yourself. So singer-songwriter I am, and I've managed to balance that between the farm and not work for the man. So
that's awesome. Touring wise, you expect or hope to get back out anytime soon?
Everything's been canceled. Last show I had was February, Bijou in Knoxville, and in fact I had a show. They were going to do a show at the Smokies Ballpark in Sevierville this Saturday. Drive-in where people are going to drive in, and it just got canceled today. So I really don't see anything happening in 2020.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm looking at it, and I don't know that I'd feel comfortable asking somebody to come to it. I don't feel comfortable asking somebody to come play with me because it's serious business, man. I got old parents. I don't mess around with this stuff.
Right. Yeah, we've been having that same conversation amongst ourselves a whole lot recently because, comedians, we rely on live performance too. And it's a little different, but not really, not much in terms of this conversation. And that whole like feeling weird about even asking somebody to come to it, even if you yourself are like, well, I'm okay with the risk of doing it. Even if you feel that way yourself, there's still the element of like even suggesting that someone comes to anything like that, because you are asking them to take a risk, like inherently. And it's like, for what? Sure, you're worth it. Obviously, you're worth the money on the ticket.
You're
right,
worth it.
yeah.
You're worth
but
it.
Not like somebody risking their health and life on it. It's just a weird time.
Well, and that's the thing. It should be common knowledge, but so many people aren't grasping what a virus is because they go, well, like, I don't care if I get it. It's like, right, but then you get it, and then you go and you touch a thing that someone that doesn't deserve to get it touches, and then they get it because you're an asshole. Like, if the world was perfect and only the people who were like, fuck it, I'll risk it, got it, I mean, yeah, dude, open it back up, let's do it. But that's unfortunately just not how it goes. So, it'd be hard for me to tell people like, hey, man, my comedy's so goddamn good that you should just not see your grandma for 2 weeks after you see my show. How about that?
And plus, well, I get into it like I'm a little frustrated where everybody's giving it away now too, and it's like it feels a little desperate to me, where people are doing these shows online. It's like a cat trying to eat a fish in an aquarium or something. It's like, I did my 10,000 hours. My time's worth money, so I'll be back out when I can get back out and when it's safe. That wasn't fun.
Yeah. No.
I think we were all convicted a little bit because we've all been doing online shows, but we have been charging for them.
Ours are not free. But I wait. Like, I know what you mean though, because I waited longer than a lot of people to do one, because at first I was like, man, I'm not into that idea at all, for a lot of reasons. But having now done one, it was a lot more fun than I expected it to be, because it's like it does kind of scratch the itch a little bit, even though it's not at all the same thing. But again, like they said, not just doing them for free or whatever. But I definitely hear you. I mean, I understand that mentality for sure.
I think it's one of those areas where there is some overlap between what we do, but this is also might be a huge difference. I know from talking to people, they had a blast at our shows. I'm certain if you did an online show, people would love it, but I'm also assuming that your opinions on sound quality, like, it's so much not the same for the fans to experience that in your mind.
That's exactly right, too, until we can figure that out. Now, like this drive-in show that I was going to do in East Tennessee, that sounded good to me, and I think that's probably fairly safe, but I guess they've got cases spiking there. It's just no need to be stupid at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about your career and history, if you don't mind. You brought up the V-Roys. I was introduced to the V-Roys. I was pretty young. I guess I was in college. My buddy Ben and his older brother had been fans. They had seen you guys live in Knoxville when Ben was too young to be at the bar, and he's telling me all these stories. And I'm just curious, and I don't really know how to ask this question other than to kind of do it like Chris Farley on SNL, just like, well, what was that like? But you guys were kicking around Knoxville in the 90s. The 90s were, of course, its own kind of thing, and then you got signed by Steve Earle.
Yeah. But you got to remember, too, in that time in Knoxville, Mercury Theater days, Super Drag just got signed. Judy Batts, there were just 30 amp fused. It was just happening in Knoxville at that point. And we actually, before we even met Steve Earle, we signed with a label that was called Praxis, which was part of Zoo. And then in the middle of that all sort of folded in on itself. The record companies did, and we were like, well, crap, we almost made it. And then all of a sudden Steve was like, hey, I own part of this label, and we got signed. We made a record with Steve, and then we graduated like you're supposed to do. We made a record for Warner Brothers after that. And then, 2000 came, and the music business completely changed on how it worked. And we were sort of at the tail end of it when it was still, limousines and hookers and blow and radio, and it was good times. Cadillacs. And
Yeah, we missed all that shit.
Yeah. Oh,
No, that sucks. Well, one of the questions I wanted to ask, and you touched on it, when you're a part of something like that, just like you're in an area or a time period, are you aware at the time, or is it like, damn, looking back, a lot of bands got signed out of like, were you aware how kind of different or unique that was?
No, man, we were in our 20s. We weren't aware of anything.
Yeah.
We were idiots.
I missed that.
You know, if we had, and you guys know it too, man. Like, even if you're good at what you do and you get an audience, but to capture that little bit of lightning that puts you up there above everybody else, whatever that thing is, whenever it happens, and it's completely arbitrary, you got to hold on to it with all you got.
Sure.
And not take it for granted. And we weren't smart enough to do that either.
I read or heard you say one time, and maybe that's what you were referencing. You said one thing I've learned is just make the music and put it out. Just keep making the music and put it out. Is that where you kind of got that from?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Like, when I first moved to Knoxville and started there, I was playing in bars, and I played like every Friday at Hawkeyes, and then I had a regular gig in Atlanta on Wednesdays, and I had a regular gig in Anniston, Alabama on Thursdays, and a regular gig on Saturdays in Lexington, and I was just doing this circuit, and I wasn't writing good songs, and I was just working, and there was no joy in it. And that's when I finally, after about 4 years of that, I was like, man, I got to do something else. And I sort of got a part-time job, and that's when I just started writing songs again for me. And when I started doing that and pleasing me, all of a sudden we got signed, and all of a sudden we were on a double-decker tour bus tour in Europe, you know. I mean, and that was a key that I learned. And you're always going to, if you can't enjoy it, how can you make anybody else enjoy it?
Right.
All right. So I think tailing off that, how do you write a song right now? Can you enjoy writing a song about COVID or Trump or any of the things going on? And if not, then how do you write a song about anything else when, I mean, it's such a strange time in America?
Well, I mean, but who was it? Faulkner said, you get enough angst in your teenage years to write the rest of your life, you know? So I'm sure you guys do the same thing. You always keep a notebook. I always keep sort of a tape recorder with melodies, and then when I'm done on the farm in the mornings, I'll go in, I'll sit down and try to put some things together and work. And as you know, probably writing your stuff, it's all editing. Man, that's all it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing to learn.
That's it.
It's taken me about 16 years to learn, like, yeah, that's the part that's the most important, you fucking moron.
Yeah. Got to use that eraser end of your pencil more than the pointy end of your pencil. So.
Yeah.
Well, man, I mean, I appreciate you being on here. We're going to
man,
not take
glad-
up too
glad
much
to
of your
help
time.
With donkey basketball. You guys got to
well,
see donkey basketball.
I want to come
I've been
up.
missing
Hey,
out.
Yeah, I'm going to take you up on that.
All right.
hey, before you go, I got to let my wife say hi. I'm gonna say she's a fan of yours, but I think she's too big of a fan, if I'm honest with you, Scott.
Oh, she'll get over it. Helps,
He said you'll get over it.
it helps not to know me.
Thank you so much. I guess we let people plug stuff, but obviously there's no dates coming up. I don't know if you got a record coming out or if you just want people to follow you.
Website, all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
come on to, it's thescottmiller.com. Just come buy some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you very much, Scott. It was a wonderful and very enlightening conversation.
Absolutely.
All right. All right.
All right, y'all
Appreciate
be
you,
good.
buddy.
All right,
Hey, you
see
too,
you, buddy.
man. Thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We'd love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you, God bless you, good night and skew.